everyone. I hope you're all able to join us live via Facebook Live. We're discussing Kitchens of the Great Midwest today by J. Ryan Stradall. I'm Sarah.
I'm Racine.
And join us in the comments below. This is our first time doing it, so bear with us. We're hopefully going to make this work. Okay. And you can join us using the hashtag ICTBC for Wichita Book Club. I think that's it. So, Racine, why don't you tell us a little bit about this novel?
This is a wonderful story. It's the story about Lars Torvald, and he becomes a chef despite years of making lutefisk as a teen in his parents' bakery in Minnesota. So here's this guy who never thought he'd get married. His life is surprised by getting married and having this wonderful daughter, Eva. She's such a cute little baby and he's so excited about her. Well, unfortunately his wife doesn't share his
We have fun props. Fun props. Spoiler alert! Okay, go ahead.
His wife doesn't share his enthusiasm for parenthood and takes off with a sommelier to California. So here's Lars, and he's got this little baby. Actually, this is one of my favorite parts of the book. He's talking about what he's going to feed this baby. You know, week one, or she has no teeth, so
she's like 3 weeks old.
Homemade guacamole. Pureed prunes. Do babies like prunes?
I don't know. Pork shoulder was what I remember. Like
pork shoulder.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so
but he was going to use a blender, I think, and blend it up nicely.
He was going to puree it. But so, anyways, Lars loves this baby, Eva. Unfortunately, he passes away, and
I'm a little late on that.
Spoiler alert. So, anyways.
But you find that out right away, so it's not like it's a huge spoiler.
And I almost stopped reading the book because of that.
It was so sad.
But it's okay, because the book really does go on and have happy endings. And so this book's about Eva, and it's really interesting because Eva grows up this odd duck in the family of her uncle and her aunt. And she's got 2 cousins, and she loves food. They love fast food. They try to force Doritos and McDonald's on her all the time. It's horrible. And but the book goes on, and the story's taken up by other people in Eva's life. Like the boy that, falls in love with her in high school. There's a chapter by this girl that hates Eva because she wants the guy that Eva's with. So another chapter is written by her cousin, who's this super driven lady softball champion. But Eva's always a reference point in the story, as are food, love, and family. So what are some of the topics that we were going to talk about on this? What hit you about this book?
Well, I think the thing right off the bat that is so interesting about this novel, and it's his first, is that he tells the story from all these different perspectives. Each chapter is almost a standalone story with Eva as this main focal point that pops up either primarily or very, very towards the end, as in the bars chapter, where Eva just pops in right there at the end. But
and we have to explain that bars are, I've known of bars, but really we have somebody from Minnesota here, and she says that bars are huge, and cookie bars, and just you think cookie and then cut. We have lemon bars. That's our big bar thing. So anyways,
I just remember a line from a movie that was set in Minnesota, and it was like, we need more bars.
So it's, if you've had bars, you will be hungry by the end of this book. So
and bars do come back towards the end, which we'll get to just in a minute. But I just wanted to know what you thought about having the story switch, where all these different small stories throughout the whole novel focusing on Eva.
Well, that was kind of the amazing thing. I mean, what a risk for a new novelist to take, because you have to really, I think you have to be really empathetic
Yeah.
to try to put yourself into so many different sets of shoes, because he's got Eva's point of view. What was it? As the story goes on, it's the middle-aged lady.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think I would ask Jay Ryan, you know, it's like, okay, have you dreamt that you were an old lady or a middle-aged lady at some point?
He does really capture Barb
Yeah,
in that chapter.
And we kind of talked about it beforehand, you know, if this would be a good book that was more, you know, if it would have worked better as short stories. And I think that it works great as a novel because, you know, it's still got that thread of Eva.
Mm-hmm.
And Eva's such a wonderful, she's not a normal kind of girl.
No, not at all.
And I don't know, what did you think of Eva as...
I really liked Eva. I thought that she was, it was very interesting to see her, you know, growing peppers under the marijuana light, and in her closet, and then to kind of grow up through the different chapters into this kind of ethereal chef that makes these luxurious dinners in the middle of the desert somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
It was really cool to see her kind of grow and to see that her growth through the eyes of all these different characters who know her well and know her maybe not so well, but she still has that connection.
Yeah, well, and I think that was one thing with Eva that, you know, bless her heart, she had like some real hardships to deal with in growing up. And you know, kids picked on her because she was tall.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
You know,
that's a great little vignette too. When she fights back against the bullies, and spoiler alert, she has this tolerance for these super hot peppers, and so what is she? She like drinks she drinks the pepper juice or something like that. Water infused with pepper. What did she do? The oil.
Yeah, she made oil out of this.
But she spits it on them, doesn't she?
Well, yeah, I think so. There was some gross parts to this, sorry, but at the same time, I mean, it's like, it's infused with humor.
Yes, absolutely.
It's loving humor. It's not like he's picking out these people and laughing at them, and that's kind of, you know, I think that's one of the...
Each character has their sympathetic nature. Like
that's the word
you want to empathize with all of these characters, whether they're Eva, who is this person I think that we hold up to a higher standard because she is the central character, or whether it's Jordy, the weird chapter that really doesn't seem to fit in, where he is getting drunk, drinking margaritas with his mother on hospice care when she probably should be eating vegetables or something. I don't know.
You know, oh, and do we have a question?
Oh, just we have some people joining you guys.
Oh,
nice.
We're so excited to have people join us. We just got
Jennifer,
so
Deb.
into our conversation. Yes, thank you for joining us. And you should definitely read the book if you haven't already, because it is a really just fun but also moving and I don't know. There's all kinds of different feelings that go into this book.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, and one thing, this guy's coming to Wichita soon.
Yeah.
He's going to be at Watermark on Friday,
The 17th.
June 17th, 6 p.m. You can meet him and get a book signed, and so there's still time to read the book before you go and see him. So.
And we have several copies available here at the library. I think we have an ebook version, which you can download through Overdrive. We have the audio. No matter how you like to read your books, you can get a hold of this novel and read it up before he gets here, or even after. It's worth it, I would say, to read it.
Yeah. Hi, Laura. Yes, yay, Watermark. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful to have great authors coming
We're so
into
excited.
town.
I'm speaking for you, Racing, right now, but I'm very excited to have people joining us today during this whole live thing. So you'll have to let us know if it works out, but we'll get more into that later. Let's get back to the book.
Okay, well,
What?
It's...
Lay it on me.
This is a wonderful book, and there's wonderful parts to it, but you were talking about the Jordy chapter, which I think is entitled Venison,
Yes,
And
yes.
it is kind of an odd duck chapter.
It just because for me, you're reading it and it's still a very you feel things with Jordy and his mother's very sick, and he does take very good care of her, even though he drinks margaritas with her. It's actually a little endearing, but he
Well, they're
tells
living
his
life
story.
to the fullest.
Right. I mean, she's only got a few days
Yeah.
left, so why not? And Jordy is Eva's boyfriend's brother. So where he fits in, she comes in for maybe 5 seconds in passing because her boyfriend goes over to the house. And, I mean, it just doesn't really seem to fit with the rest of the stories.
Well, and I think
What did you
because
think?
it's so tangential.
Very
but I
much.
think that having a parent die, it's such a huge loss,
Mm-hmm.
and I think maybe he was trying to show it from a more mature. Eva never had to deal with losing her parents.
Right. For her, it was opposite.
Right. She
She
lost
didn't
her
even know
parents
until
yeah.
much later.
Yeah, and in that chapter there has it. Okay, where's it at?
Spoiler alert! They're all through this whole video.
yeah, sorry.
So even if you haven't read it, still worth reading.
Yes, but
We're just going to tell you how it ends.
there's a Bambi moment during Jordy's chapter where he shoots the mom deer, and I think what the author was doing was putting more of different aspects of parents and loss of parents, and
That makes
how
sense.
parents, and this kid who's losing his mom. I think he was like sympathizing with Bambi. It was so that made me cry.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
I was in tears on that
Aw.
one. So, but anyways, so yeah, that's Jordy chapter was kind of the odd duck in the book, but
Well, and Eva's an odd duck, so maybe I don't know. I don't know what point I'm trying to make there, but that makes sense, and I still don't know that it fits, but I would say that is a good point.
well,
All the same.
and two, this will be this is recorded for all posterity. If you read it later on and you want to comment,
Absolutely.
write your comments in and
How
we'll
did you
respond.
feel about the Jordy chapter?
Yeah. I didn't do that at the same time as you. I
Should we do it again? Okay. Screen capture. Okay. Did we have a question? I saw something come in. A touch of my. Oh, that's nice. Thanks,
Hi, Shauna.
Shauna. Right. So let's talk a little bit about the food that's in this book, because it's so important, and it's like a theme throughout the whole thing. I mean, it's called Kitchens of the Great Midwest. We're talking about it over the lunch hour. What kind of spoke to you in this book with regards to food?
I thought it was funny because he talks about, I think he's talking about great meals and simple meals with the same relish. There's the uber foodies, and they're locally sourced, and heirloom tomatoes, and what was it? Somebody said, "Where can I find a Roma tomato?" And he goes, "In the lab."
I'm just remembering in the chapter with the bars, and they go to that real fancy cooking thing, and they're like, where'd these eggs come from? Where did you get your butter? Oh my gosh, well, I can't have
This
that
has
kind of-
gluten in it?
It was a very kind of silly exchange that
Yeah.
I think he also does this, is he pokes fun at foodie culture, and in the last chapter, especially with the last meal that is in the book, not the last meal of their lives, but it's Eva cooks this meal that she had planted a corn stalk in a field 5 years ago so that they could harvest it for this meal 5 years later. And people spend 4 years on the waiting list, and they pay thousands of dollars to get into these things for one night, one meal, and they're crying and they're screaming out in ecstasy, and it's just...
But wait a second, haven't you had a meal like that? Almost.
I don't know
Not
that I've
crying
cried.
out in ecstasy.
I mean, I don't know that there has ever been tears except for like hot peppers were, you know, were a part of it. But
There was an
good meals.
empanada that I had one time, and it was like, oh man, you rock
Did you
my
have tears?
world. No, but I mean, it was like each bite was ecstasy, and I'm like,
All
this
right.
is an empanada. What the heck? Oh well, it could
Well,
happen.
And what I liked about that last meal was that she took things from all the different. Let's spoiler alert that one. Spoiler alert. She took things from all the different chapters, kind of tying everything together very
Yeah.
much. The down home.
It was like the
Midwestern
fireworks
bars.
finale
Yeah.
of all of the food themes.
It really was, and she had like sea bass, I think, from one of the other chapters, and so all of these different things. And I think even the tomatoes, wasn't the tomatoes, which is very much a part of the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
chapter, but she brings them back, and she probably doesn't even remember it because she was a baby, but it's just this, I don't know, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I'm like, oh, it was really kind of sweet and touching. But still, I think he pokes fun at foodie culture throughout the whole book
Yeah.
with the silly.
Well, there's some poking fun, but really, it is a love of food throughout.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's, you know,
You have to love
hitting some
food
high notes. Yeah.
to like this book. Which,
Yeah.
who doesn't love food? If you don't love food, you're kidding yourself. I think we can all agree.
Yeah. So, anyways,
I don't know. Let's see. We wanted to keep this to right around 20 minutes so that everybody could come and join us and share their thoughts about the book. And maybe for next time, we'll give you a little extra heads up about what it is. But let's see. Was there any other final thoughts about the book that you wanted to share?
you know what, it's a fine first novel.
Yeah.
And I think that you will like this book if you like Girlfriend. Well, and let me just mention some read-alikes real quick.
Which we will
Bill
also include in the
Clegg's-
comments,
Yeah.
by the way, because we do want to make sure that everybody has this that
Yeah.
didn't want to sit through the other 17 minutes. Well, they've sit through the other 17 minutes.
Did You Ever Have a Family by Bill Clegg? That might be a read-alike. Mislaid.
Okay.
I was thinking of that one by Nels because it has one of those unreliable narrators, and that's always kind of fun.
Oh, okay.
If you're wanting another foodie book, there's a classic like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. Oh my gosh, that one, you will taste the brilliant tastes along with them.